Hey, Sofrito lovers, this is Ben Ramos bringing you this week's mukbang from my palatial home here in the Northwest Bronx. The Bronx is the home of hip hop and salsa. I'm bringing you some Panda Express because your boy is hungry. I haven't had Panda in a while. Look, I've got some chow mein. I've got look. I've got some broccoli super greens. I got some chicken with broccoli, and I got some of their honey walnut shrimp. Apparently, then the honey walnut shrimp doesn't have much walnuts in it. Así es la cosa. So look, Panda Express from Fordham Road. I believe it's the first Panda Express that was made in the Bronx. I don't know if there's any others. If there are, this one was the first one. Buen provecho. It's been a minute since I've had Panda, guys. So, Burrito lovers, it's been a minute since I have had Panda. I've just been going to my local Chinese restaurant, my dirty Chinese, ghetto Chinese restaurant. But I was in Fordham Road picking up some medicine. I said, let me swing onto Jerome Avenue and go to Panda. Oh my God. So good. So trashy. So trashy. So horrible. So good. I got some of the super greens because I'm pretending to be healthy. These super greens are supposed to be sauteed. This cabbage, this Chinese cabbage, it could have been on the pan a little longer. It's still a little raw. Hence all the free ASMR crunching. So frito lovers, forgive me. I'm trying to chew and talk and not choke all at the same time. I'm doing great, folks. I hope you guys are doing well. I am bringing you a story. A Parque Chronicle. It's kind of a Parque Chronicle, but not this Parque. You know, my Parque Chronicles, my Park Chronicles are usually about the like in that direction. Very Puerto Rican of me going like this. In that direction is the window that faces Washington's Walk, a park that's behind me, which I have shared many of the misadventures and insanity that happens in that park. This Parque Chronicle is about another park in the neighborhood. I've got a few parks around here. My school is across the street from the Poe Cottage Park. 10 seconds of history. Across the street from my school is Poe Cottage, P-O-E Cottage. It was the last home of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe lived here up in this area of the Bronx before he died. So across the street from my school is his old cottage, this old little baby house. Kind of funny when you look at that home, how small it is, but it was a cottage meant for one person. It gives you very tiny home vibes. You know, that whole tiny home movement, not really a new movement. People used to build homes for individuals all the times that were small. So the claim to fame to this neighborhood in this area is that Edgar Allan Poe lived here. In fact, that was a cottage that he lived in before he ended up somewhere in Philadelphia and he died on a park bench or whatever. So the cottage is, you know, inside of a little park. And the park is it's a little hoodie. It's a little hoodie. You know, a lot of drug dealers do their thing there. Occasionally a shootout, a fight. It happens. Welcome to New York City. Welcome to the hood. So, apparently a few days ago, there was this uproar that happened in the afternoon in front of my building, in front of my school. I didn't know what it was. We're inside of the school. We're minding our own business, doing our own thing. It isn't for maybe 1 or 2 days. Some folks in the neighborhood started talking about how people saw this weird thing in the park, in the field of the park. It has a little tiny field. I use the word field and I'm like, wait, that's way too big of a word to describe this very small area of grass. Apparently, and this is where Caribbeans are crazy. Someone said that they swore they saw this thing that looked like a little monster and that it must have been a chupacabra. Okay, for those of you who don't know what a chupacabra is, chupa means suck and cabra means goat, a goat sucker. It is this urban legend in Puerto Rico, but sometimes in the Dominican Republic and even in Cuba, of this animal that kills goats and sucks their blood, and it's this weird vampire thing. No one knows what they really look like. There's like if you Google it, there's like 1,000 different versions of what it looks like. And none of them are actually accurate. It's like this vampire monster who apparently must have taken like JetBlue or something and come to New York City to hang out in the park donde murió Edgar Allan Poe. And you know, the old little ladies, you know, those old little ladies that are, you know, super Christian and spiritual and all that. And they believe in all the, you know, they believe in all the superstitions and all that. Talking about that, they saw something in that park in the middle of the day that scared the hell out of a whole bunch of people. And that it was a chupacabra. I, of course, was shocked because, number one, the chupacabra is in Puerto Rico. I don't know why he would come here. It's getting cold. Why he got on JetBlue and came to New York City. Porque hace frío. It's cold here in New York. Well, technically, it's cold, it's muggy, it's humid, it's all these things. Depending on the day, the time, New York City weather has been all over the map. It's rainy, it's dry, it's hot, it's humid, it's cold, it's breezy, it's not. There's a drought, then it rains too much. We're all over the place. But despite the climatic insanity that we're living in, the Chupacabra now lives in Kingsbridge Heights, right here in this neighborhood. Some of the viejitas that are like the old ladies that are the grandmas of kids in my program, it's some monster, some hairless monster that was running around the field and everyone saw it and they freaked out. And it was a chupacabra. Hey, sofrito lovers, I'm sorry, there's some technical damage. The chupacabra heard me talking smack about it and it was attacking me. Sorry, so now that he's gone, I'll start talking smack about him again. So there's a chupacabra in the Bronx and all the viejitas were talking about how it was this hairless, creepy monster thing. Running around in the field of Poe Park in front of my school. So of course, me and other Boricuas that were there, we were all laughing and thinking it's like the best story ever. The Chupacabra has come to New York and it lives in the Northwest Bronx. So, I didn't know that the folks who work in the park, because the park has like this little center in it, I don't know if it was them or not, but apparently animal control was called. And they're looking for the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra that's in New York City now. There's a manhunt for the Chupacabra in New York City, in the Northwest Bronx, which is interesting because usually You know, the South Bronx is where a lot of Boricuas live. So the Chupacabra doesn't want to live, you know, in the South Bronx. He wants to live up here in the Northwest Bronx. I mean, there's Boricuas here too, but you know. They said that it was big and hairless and weird looking and creepy. Of course, I'm like, it's probably some animal that lost all of its fur. Maybe it's a raccoon. I've seen raccoons around here. I live in the hood, but we still are surrounded by parks. Right there's a park. There's parks all over. Van Cortlandt Park, one of the biggest parks in New York City, is a mile or two away from here. So I'm sure and Van Cortlandt Park also, you know, contains a wooded area like a forest. So I'm sure animals. I mean, folks, I live in a very urban area, and I have seen skunks around here. I've seen, you know, wild turkeys. Oh my God, I saw a wild turkey the other day, right here on Washington's Walk in the park. We're not that far away from wooded areas. There are some parks, animals migrate. Who knows what that thing is? They're animals that get sick and lose all their fur, and they look creepy and weird. And apparently, maybe something like that happened. Maybe it's like a raccoon that's sick. You know, a lot of animals get mange and then they lose all of their fur. And of course, those animals, we're not used to looking at them naked that way without their fur. So they're gross and they're creepy. But the doñitas are convinced que el chupacabra está en Nueva York. I just love talking about like the chupacabra. Like when they tell me, they're like, oh, the señoras think that it's the chupacabra. I was like, that's right. Yeah. Apparently, the Chupacabra is a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe's poetry and his stories. So he came to Poe Park to see the cottage. He's probably living in the cottage. Quoth the raven, Chupacabra. Guys, these are the things that sometimes, con la viejita, with the old ladies, these are like the things that entertain them. You know, you got to do something in between telenovelas. You have to have some drama in between these soap operas. So I just think it's funny as hell. The Chupacabra's here. And the Boricua in me is like proud of like another Puerto Rican icon in New York City, the Chupacabra. So frito lovers, I just wanted to share that crazy Parque Chronicle. There is a manhunt for the Chupacabra. If you've never been to New York City, definitely come into my neighborhood. You know, if you like Edgar Allan Poe, you can see the cottage and go into the cottage and chill out. Maybe you'll spot the Chupacabra too, who knows? All things are possible. Mira, sofrito lovers, I'm going to finish all this Panda Express. Off camera. Go out there, go have some culinary adventures, go taste for yourself. Como siempre, mucho amor.